LinkedIn's Business Manager is advertised as a tool to group your organization's ad accounts, pages, and staff and third parties under a single umbrella. But is it worth it?
Welcome to the Just Add Social podcast.
Okay, so the topic for today's podcast is all about implementing the LinkedIn Business Manager.
Clive Roach is your host, and in case you do not know him, Clive is a seasoned social media expert with over 15 years of experience at the helm of social strategies for global brands like Philips.
Thanks for that welcome, Aria. Now we'll look at the social savvy scale, which defines the social media maturity needed to fully implement, in my opinion, the LinkedIn Business Manager, and therefore the ability for you to take on this advice and use it. So, Aria, can you tell us what the score is? And that score is between 1 and 10.
Gosh.
So, Aria, take it away.
This is level 8 on the Savvy Social Scale 1 to 10.
So let's get started. Why should you adopt the LinkedIn's Business Manager? Well, there are many companies that happily manage their LinkedIn company pages and advertising tasks quite happily without it. So, if this is true, why should you consider using it?
I think you are going to give us some clues, right, Clive?
Aria, you know me too well. How about three reasons that I see why you should be using it? And here are those 3 reasons to consider it.
1.
Yes, number 1, I think you can link your ad accounts, LinkedIn pages, and matched audiences to a single dashboard. That is a good bit of functionality. And by the way, if an audience is later updated for whatever reason, that change is inherited to all the campaigns that are using it.
2.
My second reason to consider implementing LinkedIn's Business Manager for your organization is a simple one: managing the people.
You mean stormtroopers?
No, Duff, just normal people.
Just people, not rebels.
Well, actually, there is a person called Luke that works in the other studio next door, but I don't think that's the person you're looking for.
Okay, continue.
Thank you, Duff. Let me explain by looking back in history. First of all, a question to all of you. How many of you, years ago, managed your organization's Facebook accounts without Facebook Business Manager? Hands up, let's see them. I don't care if you're on the train or cycling even. You can still cycle with one hand. Wherever you are, hands up if you had to manage your Facebook accounts for your company without Business Manager. So you had to go into each one individually. And if you wanted to add a manager to go to several of them, that was a difficult task, right? Well, I did it. And I did it before Facebook Business Manager existed. And it was rough. It was a lot of stuff. Now, Facebook Business Manager took me almost 6 months to set up because I had over 60 Facebook pages to add in. And you know the score, right? If I just list some of those things that you might imagine might pop up with 60 Facebook pages to manage. Here we go. Everyone added as an admin when many were really content editors. Ooh, here's another one. Removing people who had left the company. It's a normal thing, right? Removing people who asked for access but did not need it. That is a security risk. And often people say, well, I'm important enough, I need to have it. Well, they don't say that, but here's another one. Company accounts being taken over and owned by third parties who then say, well, I'm managing this on behalf of the company. It's not your property anymore, it's mine. And here's another one. Sometimes it was hard to identify who the current owner actually is. Right? So sometimes you get hold of this Facebook page, you're not the owner, you're just the company. All of those kind of issues happened to us before Facebook introduced the Business Manager. Now, The reason why I go back in history and talk about those issues, because I can see that LinkedIn have adopted best practice from all the historic Facebook Business Manager issues, of which some I've just listed. For example, having the functionality in LinkedIn Business Manager to give access and take it away easily across all the different accounts that are connected in it. That's a good start. But LinkedIn have gone the extra mile to not just say, here it is, set it up and get going. No, they give solid advice on how to avoid all that pain and hard work that I and many of you, like me, endured doing the management tasks in each account separately. LinkedIn simply guides us all to plan ahead, doing the hard work offline before trying to set it up online. It sounds simple, but actually is solid, good advice. Now, LinkedIn have suggested 3 stages: prepare, onboard, and adopt. Each stage is described in detail in their online best practice guide to ensure that you avoid all those issues that people like me had many years ago with implementing Facebook Business Manager. Essentially, the 2 tools are almost identical, so this guidance helps a lot. Now, you can also view the guide as a PDF and download it from the LinkedIn website, but I have included a link to it in the podcast description.
Hey Clive, we still have not heard your number 3 reason to adopt the LinkedIn Business Manager.
Aria, you're counting. Good you're paying attention there in your studio.
I keep track on what you say.
Thank you, Aria. Super stuff. You keep me on track. Yes, number 3.
3.
Okay, number 3. My third reason to implement LinkedIn Business Manager is my most important one, and it's financial. The possibility to demonstrate the true business value of your LinkedIn marketing by enabling the LinkedIn Revenue Attribution Report. Now, you cannot do this just by setting up the LinkedIn Business Manager. You have to go one step further and enable it when you connect the LinkedIn Business Manager to your CRM, your customer relationship management tool. For example, Salesforce or Dynamics 365, or the one that I use, HubSpot CRM. You can use the Revenue Attribution Report to help you better understand the impact of your LinkedIn to sales. Here are some of the metrics that are included in the Revenue Attribution Report, and I'll just list some. Revenue 1, the return on ad spend, the ROAS, pipeline amount, opportunity win rate, and a few more. Aria, I think it's time for the Just Add Social key takeaway, the summary of this podcast.
Get ready for the key takeaway section, Clive. Here you go.
Thank you, Aria, for putting that nice background music on. Yes, we are now at the point where we can just summarize the key takeaway for adopting the LinkedIn Business Manager. I have just one key takeaway for this podcast, just the one. Let me go back to the question I asked at the beginning of the podcast. Is it worth implementing LinkedIn Business Manager, and should you do it? My answers are yes, and most certainly yes. However, be mindful of the advice LinkedIn gives you to prepare, onboard, adopt. So download the advice document and follow what it says about identifying and onboarding lead or experts, people from your company, and establishing business manager partnerships. I add in my learned lesson here to always check that everyone is clear on alignment with your global or central business principles and strategy when you set up those partnerships. What are you waiting for? Go do it! Thanks for joining us in this podcast, myself and Aria. Don't forget, just adding social to your marketing and communication efforts can create a powerful multiplier effect. Whether you're focusing on in-person experiences or digital campaigns, social media can extend your reach, drive engagement, and offer real-time insights.
Please do subscribe to the podcast before you go. Also, you can sign up for the email newsletter for the blog at cliveroachblog.com.
And that's where I'll end this podcast. Thank you for attending. Thank you from Aria, waving through the window there. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye from me too.